Hello, and welcome to episode number 18 of the No Reservations podcast. This one we have titled Legacy Building, Establishing a Lasting Impact in the Culinary World. And there's more. Before I dive right in, I'm just going to read the rest of this long subtitle so you know what you're going to get. This is actually a pretty interesting subject. Explore the concept of legacy building and how it applies to the restaurant industry. Learn how to create a lasting impact through culinary innovation, community involvement, and mentorship, leaving behind a legacy that extends far beyond your time in the kitchen or the dining room. Okay, this is good stuff. I think that what I'm going to talk about in relation to legacy might not be what you would expect. And here is why. Most small businesses have a lot of work to do before they can really start to put in the time to plan their legacy, the legacy planning. There's too much to do. And well, first of all, if I'm on video, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Presumably I'm not on video because it's a podcast and you shouldn't have to have a video on. I get that. But I am holding up a book called Fix This Next. This is another Mike Michalowicz books. He's written a bunch. He's written 10 books. Profit First being by far the number one book. I actually got the numbers on his book sales. I was speaking to somebody who's kind of part of his inner circle, and we were talking about that. Profit First sells thousands and thousands and thousands a week. That's amazing. And his other books do pretty well too, but nothing like Profit First. But Fix This Next is a book he wrote. It came out years ago, maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago. And all of his books, I have to say, it's my second favorite in terms of it really being useful and you get a lot out of it. So Fix This Next is all about the business hierarchy of needs, which I want to say he had to change that because I think there was a lawsuit involved with somebody else who wrote about the business hierarchy of needs a long time ago. But I don't remember what the new one is. And honestly, we're all talking about the same thing. I'm not trying to quote anybody, but basically a business has a set of needs and they do come in a hierarchy. So I hope it's legal that I can just say that. And here's what I mean is that there's no point in discussing legacy planning if your business is failing. And by failing, I mean, if it's not consistently profitable time after time, if you don't have systems and order and organization in your business, if it can't run without you, all of those things have to come before we're going to start talking about legacy, because there will be no legacy if there is no business, and there will be no business if you don't have this foundation laid first. So on the back cover of his book, Fix This Next, let's say that, I am showing it in the camera. Again, you can just look it up online. And I actually think it's on our website because we have a whole assessment that you can do regarding Fix This Next. But let me give you the Cliff Notes version right now and tell you why I'm talking about it. So in this book, the way it's written is that if you picture your business as a pyramid, right? So you got the point at the top, 3 sides of a pyramid, triangle, pyramid, whatever. The bottom, and that's the largest section of this pyramid, is sales, right? Because you can't have a business without sales. Okay. You cannot have a business if you're not selling something that makes it a business. So sales is the biggest. And the amount of sales, how the sales are coming in, are they consistent? Are they growing over time? That's the biggest section, because you can't have a business if there aren't sales, and if the sales aren't growing time after time after time. So if your business is set up in a way that it's very consistent in its sales, that you have sales processes lined up, checked in, everyone's on board time after time. It's not to say that it's a set it and forget it. You can always improve upon your sales systems, but there should at least be sales systems to improve upon. So that's number one. So you have to get that. So if you're listening to this, you're saying, yep, I'm a restaurateur. I have a restaurant. And when I open the door, people always come in. Not always the exact same number of people. Got it, get it. But there's always people coming in. They're always buying something. Okay. And do you have systems to ensure that new people and old people are coming in all the time over and over again, so that you have this consistent stream of sales regularly. That's not to say that you might not have a slow time, maybe January, maybe the summer it's slow, whatever it is. Not to say that you won't have slow times, but you know that's part of the cycle of your sales cycle of your business. And you have a system in place that works for you, whether it's a social media strategy, whether it's an internal marketing system, which I write about in my book, which I highly, highly, highly recommend. Whatever, you just need to have a strategy in place that sales are always coming through the door. So then if you have that, the next level up, so if the bottom of the pyramid is the base, the biggest part, that is sales. The next level up, just slightly smaller as we scale up toward the tip of this pyramid, is profit. Because a business cannot survive, let alone thrive, without profit. It is a mandatory must. You have to have profit. So that's the next one up. And you just need a system that you constantly have profit. And hopefully you have profit first, or a system similar to profit first, where profit is a choice that you make every single day or every week, or however you want to look at it. It is a choice, and it is money in a bank account called profit. It's not just a number on the bottom of a piece of paper, right? So assuming that you're all profit first followers, or you have profit set aside every week, every month, every quarter, however you do it, great. That's the second level. Now we can move up. If you don't have the sales strategy and system in place and profit in place, don't bother thinking about legacy right now, because you got bigger fish to fry. Okay. So let's just check off those two boxes: sales coming through the door, profit. You've got a system to make sure that's happening. Great. The third part of this triangle, and there's 5 parts total, as we move up and get smaller toward the tippity top, is order. It's the creation of efficiency. So now, if you have a business, let's use a restaurant, you open the door, you got people coming through, they're giving you money, you're selling stuff to them. And of every sale, you take your profit and you set it aside, because you know how important profit is, and it's the only way you can survive, let alone thrive. Then you want to make sure that you have order, organization, efficiencies in place that you're constantly documenting, even making better if need be, but that there is order and efficiency running at all times within your business, so that it can run without you. It can run without any individual. Actually, you do not want it dependent on some superstar chef, superstar owner, superstar dining room, whatever it is, because superstars leave. Let's face it, they leave, right? So you need to make sure that there's order and efficiency happening within your business, so that if, God forbid, your key players got hit by a bus, it can still run and do what it has been doing all along, that brought you in those sales, which allow you to have profit. That is order and efficiency. So you need to make sure these 3 big tasks are dialed in before we get to legacy. Legacy is the last one. Okay. So now let's go back. Restaurant open, doors open, people coming in, buying stuff, profit system in place. You're setting aside profit on every dollar. Order. Yep. You got systems in place, back of the house systems, front of the house systems. You're making them better, but you got something in place that it is working without you, so you can take a vacation. Great. Then the second to the top is impact. What is the impact? That's when you should be thinking about impact, which is, the creation of transformation for yourself, for your employees, for your customers. It's the impact that your business is making on the world, and from different lenses, but all of them, right? The impact that your business is making, it's creating jobs. It's helping to facilitate joy with your guests, whatever it is. Maybe it's feeding construction workers, whatever it is. The impact and the transformation that you want to have dialed in, it is really, really, really important to your business. And it also, when you can have that articulated and dialed in, what is the legacy that your restaurant, your business will leave, it helps you stay, coloring within the lines and all of these other areas of sales, profit, and order. It helps you stay on target. It helps you stay true to your goals, and hopefully that you have goals, is when you know what that impact is that you are leaving. And it's a great way to kind of bring in your culture together, so that if all your employees are on the same team, understanding the impact that they are helping to leave as part of your restaurant. That's huge in terms of getting buy-in from your culture. So impact is really big. And while I think it should be thought about from day one and all the way through, it's on that fourth level where you can really hopefully master and spend the time in that area that you are leaving impact. Because usually by now in the life cycle of the business, after you've got the sales coming in on a regular pace, you got your profits set up and it's rolling in and you got it every month, every quarter, and then you have all the order and organization and efficiencies happening within your business. That's basically a business that can run on its own, which is fantastic, which is what you should be aiming for all along. Impact, while thought of, you can really, really zero in on bringing that to life. And it might change over time. Maybe it's an impact within your community that you really want to make. Maybe it's with, the middle school or the high schools or a college or whatever it is, or anything that's important to you. But that could be part of the impact that your business is going to leave on the world. And this is the time where you can really start focusing on that. And from there, from this impact that you're leaving, this mark that you're making, the good that you're doing, from there, we get to the tippity top, the top of the iceberg, the top of the triangle, which is legacy. That's when we start thinking about legacy in your business. And in this book, which I do recommend, it is a great book, Fix This Next. It's the creation of permanence. That's what legacy is, right? It's your legacy will live on permanently, some might say. So the legacy of you, the owner, but more your business, what is the permanence there? And that doesn't mean that your restaurant has to be open for, the rest of time. What are the chances of that? Right? I don't know any restaurant that's been open since the beginning of time, of course. So that's not what it's saying. But the permanence and the legacy factor is, how long do you want it around? I can think of, restaurants that have, in my mind, have a legacy because of where I started. The Chart House I've mentioned before in my roots, the Steak Loft, which has been around. Now, those restaurants are still here, but will they be here 50 years from now? I mean, maybe, but that's legacy. That is creating a place, an environment that's not only part of the hearts of all the people that work and have worked there, but all of the guests that it has served over the years. Legacy, impact. That's where you want to get to. And it is important. And it's a lovely way. And it also is kind of a great way to kind of jet off into the sunset, let's say, maybe in your retirement, or you're thinking of pulling back and maybe doing something new, like going to teach like I am, or you just want to retire or something. That's when legacy kind of ties into everything. But there's no point in spending a lot of time at the top of that pyramid if all of the other levels are not fulfilled and operating all cylinders. And it's not like I'm saying you can set it and forget it for any one of those, but you need to set it, you need to watch it, you need to tweak it a little bit and be like, okay, good enough for now. I'll come back there when I have to, but good enough for now. I can move up a level. So to recap, if you can picture a pyramid, and this pyramid is cut into 5 different levels, with the bottom level, the largest part of the pyramid, that's being sales, your sales system, creating redundant, regular, consistent, constant sales. That's one. Every business needs that. The second one up from sales is profit. We already talked about that. You need a system for profit. Profit is imperative for any business to have, and to have a system that makes it happen. The third is order. That's the creation of all the efficiencies so your business can make more profit, and more profit will mean more sales. The fourth level up is impact, the creation of transformation, how you're doing that. And that leads right in to legacy. But one comes after the other. And here's the thing. On our website, sparkbusinessconsulting.com, there is a section, it's on the first page, to do your own Fix This Next assessment. And you can do this over and over again. I do it myself. I have clients that consult with us that do this as well, where you can constantly go, and I think it's 10 or 20 questions. They're pretty simple, but it will, when you answer these questions, it'll target which level you should go back to and work on. And sometimes it might be sales. As a matter of fact, I have gotten all the way up through impact into legacy a little bit, and then I had to come back down and be like, you know what? The sales aren't growing at the rate that I'm used to or that I'm comfortable with. So I'm gonna drop back and I'm gonna go back to that sales foundation, and I'm gonna see what I can do there to shore that up to make sure that the sales growth is really coming. And I did that, and it actually boosted our sales, and I feel good. So now and my profit is always in order because I follow profit first religiously. I think should everybody if you want to have a successful business. Order and efficiencies, I'm kind of tweaking in there, but those are working well. But like I said, there's some things in there, some cracks I can fill up and make it even a better customer experience. And now I'm already back to impact. So it doesn't mean you set it and forget it. You go back through, and sometimes it's nice to do the assessment that'll show me like, oh, that's where I should be spending my time, with the goal to get to the top of the pyramid and to discuss legacy. And it is a beautiful place to be. It doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen without everything else coming into play first. So if you're interested, you could take this next assessment on our website. You can also go to the book's website. If I were to write a second book, who knows? It would probably be Fix This Next for restaurateurs, because I think this is a really, really important part of the life cycle of a business owner, certainly a restaurateur that not everyone sees. So I am going to wrap with that. As always, thank you so much for listening. I'll see you on the next one.